Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Monday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Diana Master. In the news tonight, the Electricity Control Board ECB has requested NamPower for answers after the power utility failed to report back on the implementation of its board decision requiring senior executive Kandali Iyambo to resign from the Sino-Red board. The move follows a board resolution that found Iyambo's dual role as NamPower's modified single buyer MSB executive and Sino-Red board chairperson presented a conflict of interest. In a letter by its Chief Executive Officer Robert Kaimithe dated 22 July 2026 and seen by Network Media Hub, the ECB told NamPower that it had undertaken to report back on the implementation of one of the technical findings of an MSB audit. The electricity's regulator said that NamPower had informed it that the board had already taken a decision on the matter. Now, according to Kaimithe, NamPower had also committed to reporting back once the resignation process had been completed, but nothing was allegedly done. The dispute dates back to an MSB audit conducted in late 2025, which NMH reported in March this year, which identified what auditors described as a conflict arising from Iyambo's dual role being both NamPower's MSB executive and the chairperson of the Sino-Red board. The audit recommended that the NamPower board take immediate steps. In our next story, Omahake Governor Ismail P. Junganate has called for Home Affairs services to be decentralized, saying residents should not have to rely only on Windhoek for essential services. Speaking during a courtesy visit by the Ministry of Home Affairs and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, ahead of the rollout of electronic identification EID cards, Ganate welcomed the digital ID initiative but stressed that regional access to services must improve. He also emphasized the importance of protecting citizens' personal data as the country advances its digital identification system. Let's take a look.
And not in Windhoek. And unfortunately, the issue of Home Affairs is a Windhoek thing. Everything, when you go to the Home Affairs office, Windhoek. That should change. It should become a regional thing. That's why the president put regional governors. That's why we have regional councils. And that's why we're talking of decentralization. Things should be regionalized, should come at regional level, so that we can have our responses readily and not wait on them. But the digital ID that you are introducing is very welcome, but also, as you have said, we also need protection of personal data. You know, whenever I go with my card that normally does not have so much money, I refuse it to be tapped. Yes. I normally want to insert it, because if it's been tapped, I don't know what will happen if my children fix it up. They will realize how much money I do not have, because they will tap and then it will say insufficient funds. So it's only for that reason that it's insufficient funds that I don't want.
In our next story, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, Ingezamwani, has endorsed a strategy for the transformation of the agri-food sector, STAs, describing it as a practical roadmap to modernize Namibia's agri-food sector through stronger public-private partnerships, investment and coordinated implementation. STAs, which runs from 2025-2026 to 2030-2031, aims to transform Namibia's agri-food sector by creating an enabling environment for investment, strengthening agricultural value chains, and fostering collaboration between government, the private sector, and development partners. Let's take a look.
The strategy was presented to me last year. I said without hesitation, this is it. We must onboard it, we must make sure that we implement it, and that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. Where work has been done already, and work is concrete and is there, we must build on it. When you are building a house, you don't want to come and demolish and start again from the foundation. You start that house from where you found it. You improve on it, if any, but we don't have enough time to reinventing the wheel. And that is why this strategy for us is very critical, given its alignment with NDP 6. The next phase will therefore require an even greater level of commitment and cooperation. Through this programming process, we will lay the foundation for coordinated action, strategic investment, and lasting impact across Namibia agri-food sector. The government remains fully committed to this agenda of transforming our agricultural sector. Her Excellency has made it very clear it is a priority number one, and we, the people in this room, are the one.
In our closing of our top stories, the formal bail application of Onanjokwe medical doctor Dennis Sipumbu Noah has been postponed to September after his defense team requested more time to prepare the case. Noah appeared before Magistrate Nelawaya France this morning in the Ondangwa Magistrates Court, where the matter had been set down for formal bail application. His legal representative, Beyonce Boyce, told the court she had only recently taken over the matter and had not yet had an opportunity to obtain instructions from her client, making it impossible to proceed with the application. Magistrate Yafrance ordered that Noah remain in custody pending the formal bail application in September. Noah, who's aged 31, is accused of allegedly raping a 26-year-old man at his flat at Onanjokwe Hospital over a week ago. And that brings us to the end of our top stories. After the break, we bring you our Community Talk segment. Stick around.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises. From artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Getting into our Community Talk segment, the Haitrom Tsusas family of Sweet Valley, Okahanja, is mourning the heartbreaking loss of 5-year-old Ramian Tsusas, one of a set of twins who died in the early hours of Wednesday morning after being ill. Now, according to the family, the child's grandmother, Renate Tsusas, aged 52, contacted the police at around 3 a.m. to report the death. After waiting for several hours without assistance, she placed her late granddaughter's body in a trolley at around 10 a.m. and walked towards the main road in search of transport to take the child to hospital, as she had been informed that the police had not yet arrived. Aksa Alpindi, Okahanja councillor, paid a visit to the family on Sunday to see where and how the municipality can help. Let's take a look.
Very much, mother, for really express what happened. I just came as a resident of the town. I didn't come to represent the municipality, but I just came to say sorry for what happens to your daughters. And please, I'm very sorry. I understand the situation that you are, and I just came to comfort you and say sorry for what happened. It's not easy to lose a daughter who's supposed to be somebody in life, supposed to assist you, supposed to help you in the future. So I understand the situation. We're having a meeting on Tuesday at the council, and we will present. I will present the case to the municipality on Tuesday, just to see how can we assist in terms of grave. Maybe we can able to donate a grave. So the council will have that mandate and power to decide. So I will communicate with you immediately on Tuesday or perhaps on Wednesday, just to inform you what the council have decided. Really, it's unfortunate that this kind of things are happening like this, but I also want to urge our community members, please always have your leaders number, so that whenever you find yourself in a problem, quickly send a text so that we can quickly come and assist. A situation like this really is unfortunate, and I think we also need to engage the hospital for them to come and maybe to bring you in terms of counseling you, because to have the body with you of somebody who passed on for plus minus 6-7 hours is really uncalled for, and I really feel the pain that you are going through. I also want to urge our resident in our town to assist this family. Is really in need. Let us assist our community. In Namibian culture, we are saying whenever we are in difficult situations, we need to hold hands and help one another. So this family really need help, and we will engage with different community members to see how can we assist. But as I said earlier, I will present your case to the municipality of Okahanja on Tuesday, so that the council can able to make a decision. I believe the municipality is a caring municipality with caring leaders, so we will treat this case as a very urgent case that we need to look at. Once again, I just came to console you, comfort you, as mothers, as grandmothers, as kids, as a family, that we need to hold hands and help one another in order for us to overcome these challenges. So I will pass the message to the mayor. I will pass the message to the full council, so that the full council will be able to make a decision and address these issues. I want to emphasize once again the community members of Okahanja to assist this family. They really need our assistance. I will be asking the media to provide the contact number where can we able to gather our assistance, whatever we can, little by little, then we will be able to assist the family. Thank you so much.
Continuing with our community talk segment, government institutions that failed to implement Namibia's revised disability policy can no longer hide behind ignorance, Kunene Governor Vupwakuya Moarukwa has warned, saying all sectors will be expected to translate the country's disability commitments into action. The warning comes nearly 3 decades after Namibia adopted its first disability policy, with many persons with disabilities still facing barriers to education, healthcare, transport and employment. Those challenges are particularly acute in Kunene, where 7,004 people, which is 5.8% of the region's population, live with a functional disability, according to the Legal Assistance Centre's 2023 Disability Statistics Report. Kunene has the country's second highest prevalence of functional disability after Omaheke with 6.1%. A 2024 report by the Namibia Association for Wheelchair Users highlighted severe economic exclusion among persons with disabilities in Kunene, reporting high levels of unemployment among wheelchair users in the region. Now addressing stakeholders at an education and awareness training on the revised National Policy on Disability 2025 to 2035 and its costed implementation action plan in Korigas late last week, Moharukwa said the workshop should not be viewed as a routine awareness campaign, but as a call to action to ensure inclusive development becomes a reality. He was quoted as saying, "In law, there is a saying that ignorance of the law is no excuse. Thus, non-compliance with the policy will not be excused after this training." Moharukwa said disability inclusion is a shared national responsibility and urged all sectors of society to take ownership of implementing the policy. We'll now take a quick ad break and bring you the latest in economic news when we come back. This week's decisions, today's debates, tomorrow's consequences. The agenda puts the spotlight on Namibia's most pressing issues and the people driving them. From headline makers to groundbreakers, we bring you the voices and perspectives at the center of the national conversation. One story, one interview, the depth you won't find anywhere else. That is The Agenda. Catch The Agenda on 102.com and on ntv.my.na. Headlining our economic news segment tonight, Bannerman Energy says it expects to make a final investment decision, FID, on its Etango uranium project later this quarter after making further progress towards complementing a strategic financing agreement worth up to $321.5 million or 5.4 billion Namibian dollars with China's CNNC Overseas Limited, CNOL. The company said the remaining conditions required to complete the transaction are expected to be met during the third quarter of 2026, after which it intends to take a positive FID on the project. Now, the financing agreement announced in February will see CNOL acquire a 45% stake in a joint venture that owns a 95% interest in the Etango project. The deal provides Bannerman with an equity-funded route to construction rather than relying on significant debt, while securing a long-term buyer for 60% of the mine's uranium production. Bannerman said more than 560 workers are now on site, with bulk earthworks approximately 92% complete, while about 60% of the concrete planned for the first construction phases has already been poured. We'll now take a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 22.42 against the British pound, 19.14 to the euro, 16.83 against the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 49 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. Looking at commodities, gold and platinum took dips of 0.52 and 0.01% respectively, while copper and Brent crude oil are on an upturn of 0.17 and 4.40% respectively. And now, getting straight into our international news. At least 15 people have been killed in Russian attacks on Ukraine, including 10 dead in ballistic missile strikes on an exhibition near Kyiv showcasing drone technology. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said some 100 people had been injured in the daytime attack on the exhibition, attended by prominent members of the defense sector. Russian glide bombs also killed 5 people in the eastern city of Slavyansk. Early on Saturday, military officials confirmed the deaths of 2 men in the northern city of Sumy. On Friday evening, Zelensky said he had received intelligence that Russia was preparing another massive missile strike, which could happen within the next 48 hours. A Ukrainian strike on Friday killed 6 people and wounded 26 in the Russian city of Kirov, more than 1,000 kilometers behind the front line. Ukraine also attacked warehouses of wild berries, Russia's biggest online retailer. Now, after the attacks near Kyiv, there were initially fears of the safety of Defense Ministry advisor Serhiy Bekrestronov, also known as Flash, and Lyubia Shipoyevich, who has been involved in developing technology for the Ukrainian army. Now, following the incident, both took to social media to confirm they were unharmed, and Bekrestronov said he had stayed away from the event because of security concerns. Now, Ukrainian Air Force spokesman Yuri Inhat told Ukrainian TV the attack involved 3 ballistic missiles, only one of which was intercepted. Russia confirmed the attack. Its defense ministry said high-precision, long-range weaponry had been used on a site where drones for use in targeting civil sites in Russia were being demonstrated. It said producers of drones, as well as representatives of Ukraine's drone forces and security services directly planning and carrying out strikes on Russian territory, were present. This is at least the third time since Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022 that an exhibition of this kind has been hit. Now, there has been widespread outrage that a public event of this kind was being held at all and had apparently been widely advertised. President Zelensky said the incident was being investigated. Now, in contrast, Ukraine's prosecutor general said efforts were underway to establish who decided to hold the event and what safety measures were in place. The attack came hours after the Ukrainian strikes on a factory in the city of Kirov and warehouses in northwest Russia. Zelensky said one of the most important military facilities in Kirov supplying components for aircraft and missile equipment used in strikes against Ukraine had been hit. Friday's attacks on at least 2 Wildberries facilities in the St. Petersburg area were the latest of several over the past week. And now let's get into our sports news with Ari Hochad, but before that, let's take a look at the weather predictions. Winter can expect maximum temperatures of 23 degrees Celsius and minimum temperatures of 10 degrees Celsius. Over in Rundu, it is quite hot, although Inanna will be hottest at 30 degrees Celsius and will drop to 12 degrees Celsius. Looking over at the coast in Walvis Bay, it's bright, sunny, clear conditions, maximum temperatures of 23 degrees Celsius and minimum temperatures of 15 degrees Celsius. In Oranjemund, it is partly cloudy, maximum temperatures of 17 degrees Celsius and minimum temperatures of 12 degrees Celsius. And now, here's Ari Hochad.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with cycling news first. The Tour de France that continues, and it will finish this coming Sunday in Paris. It is stage 18 that was won by Richard Carapaz of Ecuador. He broke away on the stage of 183 kilometers and he won it by 45 seconds over Maru Schmidt, that was in second position. Overall classifications, there's still Tadej Pogačar that's leading with Remco Evenepoel 4 minutes and 32 seconds behind him. The last few stages will be this weekend. Saturday it will be stage 20, that will still be in the Alps, in the mountains, and then on Sunday it finishes in Paris at the Champs-Élysées, 132 kilometers. Continuing international sports news with soccer news, it is the Women's Africa Cup of Nations that will start this coming weekend, and it is going to be played in Morocco. And South Africa that also plays in the tournament. They in Group B with Burkina Faso, also Ivory Coast and Tanzania. It is South Africa, Banyana, the team. They will play their first game on Monday against Tanzania. The tournament starts on Sunday with Senegal that is playing against Algeria, and that is 7 p.m. on Sunday, and then the host Morocco that play against Kenya, that is 10 p.m. that is Namibian time. Also soccer news, it is from the English Premier League, still transfers and signings for the new season that starts. It is Arsenal that is set to make an offer for Bruno Guimaraes. He is the captain of Newcastle, and that is an offer for 70 million euros. He's a midfielder and he also plays for Brazil international team. Then to close off today's international sports news, it is golf news. It is from the PGA, the Men's PGA Tour, the 3M Open that's being played in Minnesota. The leader there is Ben Coles on 9 under par, and Emilio Grello of Argentina 7 under par. Number one player in the world, it is Scotty Scheffler, also playing in the tournament, and he had a good start. He was 6 under par after his first round. Also in women's golf, it is the Scottish Open being played. That's at Dundonald in Troon. The leader after the first round is Jenny Shin. She is from South Korea, 6 under par her first round. World number one, Nelly Korda from the USA, also playing in the tournament, even par after the first round. And then Southern African interest, it's Cassandra Alexander. She was even par after the first round. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day and sport weekend. We'll talk international sport again on Monday. Goodbye.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. I am Diana Master, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.